everyone. Whoa, that was quite loud. I'm Hugo from PlayEmber, so we're a mobile game studio. We were Web 2, and about a year ago we started to make the transition to Web 3. We've kind of built a Unity to Near SDK, so making it really simple for Web 2 mobile game studios to kind of make their first foray into Web 3. Today, talking about taking blockchain mobile and how mobile games will power the next generation creator economy. First of all, we'll go into the state of blockchain gaming and the mobile game industry, to the infrastructure and tools available for mobile game studios, which have improved massively over the year, new monetization channels for creators and brands to find new audience and distribute their arts and goods, and then a bit of a crystal ball moment and what we think the future holds. So the first thing is it's really positive at the moment. I think in a bear market we can kind of get down on ourselves, but actually gaming is here to stay. So I think in the first kind of GameFi 1.0, we've found out more what doesn't work than what does work, and I think that's a big opportunity. As Miko said just before me, there's a ton of VC money still coming in and pouring in, and they're all bullish on gaming. And I think it's kind of on us as mobile game studios to find a path for sustainable games and profitable games, because I think this kind of magic Web3 money will, or it has started to kind of go away. And we need to push for profitable games. Obviously, we need to make it easy and seamless for users for that mass onboarding, as at the moment it's really annoying. And we've seen a real change from IPs and brands, and all these communities that have raised money, have really big communities and always have a game in their roadmap. And I think they have now understood that they need good mobile game studios or game studios to come in and make those games. Quick one about us. So we're a top 20 blockchain game project, over 20,000 unique active wallets, and we've done about 250K wallets. Top Web 2 game studio, 100 million downloads, 5 million MAU, and we've got investors such as Shima, Big Brain Holdings, and Huobi. So yeah, the state of Web 2 and Web 3 gaming. So there are billions in funding for Web 3 games. And I think this just means there are loads and loads of great teams working on amazing games. I think in reality, we're about 12, 24 months out until these games really start to surface. And unsurprisingly, Polygon, Immutable X, Ethereum were the big winners. And a really cool stat, I'm not sure if it's actually up here, but 5.7% of Web3 applications and dApps are games, but gaming activity makes up about 52% of unique active wallets. So it really is a critical metric when gauging interest. And while gaming investment took a bit of a dip, I think the fundamental indicators push that gaming is a way to the mass market. Web3 gaming absolutely still firing in 2023. DApp Radar said that $156 million was raised in January. Legacy gaming companies like Square Enix are coming into the space, and I think this is a positive when big kind of Web 2 companies come in. And YGG, one of the biggest guilds, is starting a new fund of $75 million. Mobile games certainly seem to continue to drive the game market. So over 50% of revenue on gaming overall is from mobile, and that's a huge opportunity for Web3. And then certainly where Web3 lags behind Web2 is game discovery. So on iOS, 8.4 billion downloads in 2022, 47 billion from Google Play. And I think what we need to do is effectively find a way to work with these guys. So the Web3 mindset is it's a walled garden with Google Play and the App Store. But actually with the NFT news, which was met really negatively, I think it's kind of positive news. At least now we can kind of experiment and we can test things and, okay, they're going to get 30%, but it's a huge, huge multi-billion-dollar companies. And I think we need to start to work with them. And as Miko said before, work with them. So who are Web 2 and Web 3 gamers? So I think you need to know your audience. I think it's the first step of any mobile game or any game. You want to think about your user. Think about your user and who you're building it for. I think we made the mistake, so we've got this kind of light Web 3 Unity to near SDK. And actually, we're going after the Web 2 market and trying to make it more rewarding for end users and bringing them over to Web 3. We made the mistake at the start of kind of having 100, 200 kind of closed alpha testers who were very much Web 3 on Discord. And I think sometimes you start to get in a bit of a Web 3 echo chamber and everything becomes more and more Web 3, which actually the mass market don't want. Thought this was a really cool graph from Navic, and I think it just shows it's even more complicated to kind of pin down your audience for Web 3, whereas kind of Web 2, you talk about your whales and your ad players, your IAP players. Basically, you've got investors, earners, and players with Web 3. And I think it's our job as mobile game studios to try and get as many players in as possible. Because I think if the players are in, they enjoy the game, they enjoy the gaming experience, that's where this kind of Web 3 mobile gaming becomes more sustainable. And again, a really cool stat. So for Web 2, basically you make all of your money in the US or the EU5, and it's almost the reverse with Web 3. So you kind of take Africa, Asia, Brazil, really, really big for NFTs. And it's a huge opportunity because certainly with Web 2 mobile games, it's hard to make money there. But with this Web 3 element, actually $5 a day for some of these countries is really big. So they will keep on pushing and building up your community. And then on to the inference tools available to game studios. So this has got so much easier, or there's so much more choice over the last year. So you've got kind of Magic Eden, Fractal on Solana, Immutable, Tezos, Near. They've all kind of got these Unity SDKs. GameStop with Immutable, Rika with a Near deal. But really this just shows that you can kind of be picky and you can find your best fit for your project. Again, similarly, there are kind of huge advances daily with making this really seamless for users. So Sequence, they work with Cool Cats, super easy wallet product. Same with Venly and same with Intella. And I think this is something Web 3 does really, really well and much better than Web 2. These kind of gaming and creator DAOs. We've worked with Ready Player DAO before now. So a group of influencers, and they kind of put up a bounty, and they create videos and everything like that for your game. And then Web 3 publishers as well. So I think it's effectively, if you want to concentrate more on the game development and less on the publishing, you can kind of go to these guys now. And it's quite interesting kind of looking at it. So you've got the Web 2 guys that are kind of coming into the space. So the Scope Please, Tilting Points, Boomlands. And I think there's some great experience there, and they build profitable games. And then I think you've got the Web 3 ones, so Joyride, Block Games, Exterio. And they certainly, I think, have an upper hand when they when it comes to understanding communities and the nature of Web3 a lot better. And I think also they perhaps have a fairer commercial model, less of a copy from the Web2. But yeah, a big point there is you've got a lot of choice again, whereas a year ago I don't think you did. So on to Web3 monetization opportunities for creators and brands. Thought this was a really cool stat to kind of look beyond the game. And I think as a mobile game studio or game developers, you just kind of concentrate on the game. But actually, 53% of the ways people engage with your game content are not playing. So you've got 47% playing, and then everything else is more things on the Web2 side. Okay, watching videos on Twitch or YouTube. And I think Web3 is even more so. So user-generated content, take Sandbox or Shrapnel, for example. And I think lots of these companies are kind of coming up around games. So this kind of Axie one, it's the #1 fan site for Axie Infinity, helps players and guilds increase ROI and earnings. And the total time spent on this website equals about 14 years. So there's so many kind of different products and projects that are building around one game. And then GameNX. So there are a lot of new gamification models. Genopets, Sweatcoin, Sleeper Gotchi, which I downloaded last night. It was like a sleep and earn, which is quite cool. We've got a fight and earn game coming out. But these, I think, especially with Sweatcoin, these kind of habitual models where you will go in daily, you'll check your steps, is really, really good for brands. And brands are kind of all over this and coming into this space. And then also Web3 games obviously are going mobile. So you've got Axie, obviously started out on browser, but they're pushing more and more into the app stores. Blast Royale, really, really cool game. So native mobile Web3 game on the App Store and Google Play. They kind of pay their 30% tax, but it's a really, really good user experience. And then, yeah, our kind of crystal ball moment and where we think Web3 gaming will be huge and the next frontier in commerce. So yeah, you've got kind of the Saga phone. So it's like the Web2 OEM model of preloaded apps, but it's all completely run on crypto. And then we had a call with Jambo the other day. So they raised, I think it was 30 million in their Series A round. And they're kind of going after the super app of Africa. But what they're doing really, really well is kind of turning gaming soft currency into real rewards. So James, their CEO, kind of said to us, imagine you're a 21-year-old in Lagos, and you watch some ads, you play some games, and then you use that coin you just earned to top up your airtime, top up your phone bill. And I think what's really, really cool about that is you don't actually change the user experience at all. You're just making that experience a lot more rewarding. And that's also what we're kind of trying to do in this Web 2, Web 2.5 mass market way, that you play the same game you always have done, but actually it's a more rewarding experience for the user now. So yeah, just like to leave you with, it's really positive for gaming at the moment. We found out more what doesn't work than what does. That's a huge opportunity. VCs are super bullish on gaming. There's a lot better tooling than there was a few months ago. And there's certainly been a real change in mindset from Web2 brands and IPs, and they really want to get involved with skilled mobile game and game studios. Thank you.